welcome back to the Liverpool Community Podcast. It's been a while, hasn't it, Phil?
Certainly has, brother.
We've been on hiatus, vacation, whatever we've been on, but we're back in the studio and we're back with a special guest with us today. And it's a fellow filmmaker. We've had him on before a while ago, and we wanted to come back on to talk about what he's working on now. And I'm joined here by Doug Byrne. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me back, Chase.
Well, listen, man, one of my favorite filmmakers because we did a panel talk together, and your knowledge is something I've always loved to sponge off of, because... What?
At least you're honest.
All right.
The problem is me. I'm happy to talk for hours, so you need to.
Yeah. No, Phil will stop us. But let's go. I know you have an extensive career making films and everything, but from our last talk, you were in the middle of making My Broken Sky and Man in the Cave, which you said that you had managed to finish.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, And I thought Man in the Cave was interesting because you kind of like described it as an autistic zombie film.
Yeah. In the film, there's a janitor who works a research lab.
Yeah.
And it's an old, almost cliched kind of storyline where a scientist trying to make the world a better place unfortunately comes up with a serum or a medicine which turns people a little murderous,
just a little.
On the zombie side. But the actual main story really is about how the janitor, who went from being this figure in the background, very quiet, OCD or kind of autistic kind of tendencies, or where he presents himself to the world, due to a quirk of fate, he becomes almost blind. The zombie or infected don't really recognize him as a threat. So whereas the people in the main world
makes him invisible to them.
Well, he gets injected by the scientist who has 3 shots at this serum. The 2 go badly wrong, and these people start to infect more and more and more. Whereas this serum, which he's taken or been given by, he was in his choice, he was given it, makes him blind to the infected.
Yeah.
And so it's a role reversal where the autistic people feel that they can't really interact with the world, or they need to retreat from it. He becomes the only one that can actually go into the world and actually get the shopping they need, medicines, actually go out and see the world on his own. And he becomes almost like, the ruler of it. It becomes his kingdom.
Kind of like I Am Legend a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But whereas, I'm trying to portray the fact that autistic people sometimes feel they need to hide from the world. So it's a bit of a role reversal where he becomes the kind of only person that can go out, and for a better, non-autistic people have to retreat into where the facility where he works, and they have to rely on him. So whereas autistic people are relying on non-autistic people.
No, you said, a good role reversal.
But we obviously have people getting their necks ripped out and blood and guts and things like that. But
obviously,
but obviously you need to give the audience something. But yeah, that was The Man in the Cave was essentially about, because we were originally going to have it in a cave, but I couldn't find a cave I was happy or health and safety. So the cave then is a metaphor. It's his mind. The man in his own cave.
No, I totally get that, because you could just be in a room with 4 walls and that could feel like a cave sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about autism and loneliness, and everything, mental health. I mean, you're tapping into all kind of things there, Douglas.
Which was also My Broken Sky was also like that. I know someone who suffers horribly from agoraphobia and they can't leave the house.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do was have a car accident where a woman who went from going out, and then she can't actually leave the house because of fears and inner demons, and she has to deal with that before she can actually leave the house, and the death of her mother. There was all these things going on more or less the same week. And so we're again dealing with kind of mental health or kind of people going through various struggles in their lives.
So I mean, sounds like out of your filmography, you like to explore deeper subjects behind the face of doing a horror film or a comedy and everything else like that, which is fascinating. I mean, I encourage people to look up Doug Byrne, and his filmography, because it is a long list. But so speaking of that, recent project you're working on is a project you actually started some time ago as a pilot in 2019 called Dead War or Dead War Chronicles and everything. And you said basically you started it as one thing, and what made it into something else, like where you had to update and expand it?
Yeah, Dead War Chronicles follows a man who loses his memory. He can remember his own birth, but he can't remember much else after that. And he goes through a memory kind of support group. And we made it more as a pilot, really. It's like 45 minutes long, and it follows Jack, played by Mark Prescott. And
I know Mark.
Yeah, he's a great guy, Mark.
Yeah.
And it follows his few weeks in his life where he has to keep dying to get to the next level. He has to keep dying and keep dying and keep dying.
So is he he keeps regenerating, or?
Well, we don't give away in the first one particularly why he has to keep dying, but he has to keep going through these physical, metaphysical kind of possibly isn't he dying? He has to go through several levels. And then he gets to the end and we find more about the story. I wanted to make the next parts 2 and 3 because it was already on Amazon, the first part.
So it's already been out on Amazon.
And Mark and everyone else said, should we make the next one? I said, yeah, fair enough. But I wanted to expand the story so much that we decided to add about another 10 minutes to part 1. We had a better effects package, which you can now buy, because in the last 5 years you can actually buy these kind of go to a company and say, here's £100-200 and you can buy all these effects packages. So we decided to update them, add a few more bits and pieces. So we've kind of enhanced part 1. So we've now relaunched part 1 again, but as a much more tighter, not really a pilot, it's actually a proper part 1. And then parts 2 and 3 are completely new that we shot all last year, all around the Merseyside area, West Cheshire, that kind of place.
But you also said part 1 can be seen now on YouTube.
Yeah, we've just launched it. I mean, I think it was Saturday just gone, so like 3 or 4 days ago. People can go onto YouTube, put Dead War Chronicles in, and then you can actually find it there. Or if you go to our website, tvplusfilms.com, there's a link there as well. So yeah, that's free to air. And then people can watch part 1 there. And then
it's a good selling tool, isn't it? Because you how should we say, you reissue the film, right? And you put it out again, because this was like 2019, 2020 when you first did it, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's in reissue, so new people can get a chance to find it. But now it's like, hey, Dead War 2 and Dead War 3, is coming, and stuff like that. So I mean, that's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, we decided that if we were going to do part 1 again, then we wanted to then follow on to make it a complete series. So parts 2 will follow, then part 3. I mean, we're doing a screening at FACT for parts 2 and 3, like a charity screening in Ada Clare House. So that'll be September, but I reckon more October, because we want to make sure we get the right marketing for it. And then
So it's like a double feature screening.
Yeah. I mean, parts 2 and 3 come to an hour and a half, so we'll probably just run it as one concurrent film. We won't probably do a part 2 and part 3. We'll just do a whole hour and a half. But it is effectively parts 2 and 3, and then we'll then release them after a few weeks later, probably on YouTube and then Amazon. But then they'll be clearly marked parts 2 and 3. So yeah.
So I mean, you mentioned to me earlier that you're kind of like a one-man band. So for you, what does that mean? I mean, I understand you write, you're directing, do you shoot as well? And then you're also editing?
It's a bit of I know it sounds a bit of a joke, but I mean, if anyone remembers Dennis Waterman, there used to be a joke, especially on Little Britain.
The Minder guy.
I
also play the theme tune.
So you want me to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune? You want me to do all these things? And yeah, I mean, it also sounds a bit like Kenneth Branagh, where like Henry V, I think, where he made won all the Oscars when he first made a film. He did to do so much. I do a lot of things. I write it. I run it past a few people so they can chip in with ideas, especially the cast. But I do write the bulk of it. I do come up with the original script. My wife helps me produce it, so I don't do all the producing, but I do quite a bit of the producing. I find that I do the camera work most of the time, especially on the last one, Dead War. Man in the Cave, I had 3 camera people, so that was absolutely fine. But this time, and the reason why I'm out my films, I will do the directing and camera, because I find that if you're looking through the lens anyway, you're kind of seeing from a director's point of view what you want, what you need. So I do find it a lot easier to actually direct that way. Also, we're quite guerrilla in terms of filmmaking. In other words, we'll go to one location for an hour, so instead of setting up everything and getting everyone there, it's easy if I just turn up, do a scene with 2 actors. You don't need anyone else, really. There's a guy called Rod Freeman, a Liverpool guy, another filmmaker, yeah, great guy. He does the posters for me, and he'll also do quite a lot of the effects for me, the ones I haven't got on the packages, so he'll do quite a few effects for me. I've got a Norwegian composer called Trond Borison, and he's done the last 3 or 4 projects for me. An amazing guy,
kind of like your own Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah, so I mean it sounds like I do a lot, and I dare say I do a lot, but because I have horrible OCD, I mean it's just real mainline OCD. So I actually have spreadsheets for everything. I plan everything.
Yeah.
I get everything. So I've got spreadsheets after spreadsheets, so I know what equipment we need, who needs to be where, time. So I've got all that. So it runs as well as it can for a film set. There's obviously you turn up and it rains, you have to kind of think, well, what do we do now when it's meant to be sunny? But as near as you can, I try and plan for a lot of things, and I like to edit. I must admit, I do love to edit, but because I'm not a big studio, because people aren't expecting deadlines, I can kind of take my time editing, so I don't mind doing that job as well. But in the past, I have got editors in to do various bits and pieces, so it's not always me. Yeah.
No. I mean, but I guess it's just a thing to know, because a lot of times people end up doing all these double duties on their own films, but they will find it much more helpful to have someone, on your right or your left, to rely on or have your back, because you know how it is. 2 people never want the responsibility, so they always come to you with the littlest things to the biggest of things. And it's like, I'm trying to think right now about how I'm going to do this next shot, you know what I mean? And the buffer zone would help me. I find that to be the case. It's like, I'm right on top of everything, like you said, and I totally understand it. So when we were having conversations and stuff like that, and I think this would be helpful for the audience, being filmmakers and stuff, is that just think about streaming and Prime, because, a lot of times people don't think enough about now that I made my film, how am I going to distribute it? Or where's it going to go? And everybody will have the dream, it's got to go into the cinema and all that other kind of stuff. And then when that dream dies, where does it go? Netflix, okay, when that dies, where does it go? And everything. But Amazon seems to be a reliable source and everything. Would you say that would be the case as far as if you were an independent filmmaker here in England and stuff, as Amazon is a reliable source for streaming?
I would say there's definitely a lot worse places to go. I mean, I can never pronounce. Is it Vimeo?
Vimeo. No, I will not put my film on Vimeo.
No. I'm just saying there are other options. There are smaller channels,
like a Tubi or something like that.
Yeah. But Amazon have that name recognition. You may hate them, you may love them, you may not like Jeff, Bezos or whatever the guy who runs it. But love or hate
Jeff.
Love or hate them. Amazon offer that outlet to filmmakers. I mean, it's they're not doing it for charity. It helps them, because when you subscribe every month and you go on and there's just no new films, then you're not going to subscribe. So it helps them as much as it helps you.
Yeah, because you said they were like Blockbuster in a way.
Yeah,
it's like, so they are always in search of content.
Exactly. And if you know 100 people that are going to want to watch your film. It may sound like peanuts, but if every film gets uploaded by a local filmmaker and there's a fan base of sorts, then those pennies and cents, they start to add up, for Amazon. So it's only the bandwidth for the kind of capacity they must have. They must have so much space that it's not going to matter to them too much. So it's just one more film up there. It's brand recognition. So you say, I've got a film on Amazon. That's better than saying I've got a film on YouTube. Funny enough.
But the main thing is like what I thought was clear, which I think letting people know is they don't demand ownership of your content or your product. I mean, you still have the right to release it in the theater if you want, or to do whatever else release strategy you want. I mean, do they demand that it's on Amazon for a period of time before you do that?
I believe you have to give them X amount of notice. I've never done that, but I believe it could be anything up to 6 months, or it could be a period. I think in part because they have to take it off the server. So maybe
when it goes to the theater.
Yeah, so they need that time. They're not going to rush to take it off. So they need that time to take it off. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I've never had a problem with them on that. They'll just quite happily have it on there, and funny enough, if you don't get any hits for a month or two, they're not going to bother you.
They're not bothered, right?
I mean, because they know that eventually someone will stream it, or it's there and people will watch it. So you're never going to retire off the money you're going to make off it as an independent, unless you're a very big independent, and unless you're getting thousands of hits or views per month. But you will still make X amount of money off it. But I mean, there are worse places. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but as when we were talking, and like a lot of people want to make horrors. For some reason they think horror is easy, or they think horror is more fun than anything else. And like, you brought up Shudder, which I mean, I think people are somewhat familiar with, not overly familiar, but if you do, like me, have no life and watch television a lot, you would have come across the name of Shudder as the horror channel and everything. But a channel like Shudder, as well as Amazon, but they pay you to put a film.
As far as I'm aware, yes, they pay you, and they're the type of people that you can't just upload or approach. You can approach them, or you need a third party to do so. But I think
you still need a good package worth paying for.
And also, I think they're slightly smaller. They have perhaps fewer films than Amazon, so they're not selective, but they can only have. Yeah, they'll buy in more than you can actually just upload yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, thanks for that though, Doug. So for a man who's been doing serious films and horror films and everything like that, I asked you what's next for you, and you have a comedy in store that you are actually casting for at the moment, called Mr. Average. Now, can you tell me what's so different about Mr. Average?
Well, it's a man called Doug, and I know my name's Doug, but it was the most average, boring name.
Wow, that was easy, Doug. That was easy for you.
It was the most boring name I could think of, the most average name I could think of. So Doug, he seems to be appears to be a stand-up comedian. He seems to be looking for an assistant to help him organise a very small but a tour of a few working men or clubs to go to. Mm-hmm. He meets a guy called Tim's, who's desperate for a job, and over the course of time, Doug presents himself as the Grim Reaper, or he appears to be the Grim Reaper, but Tim's doesn't want to believe that, because why would this man be the Grim Reaper? And if that is the case, then that's quite a horrific situation to be in, because everyone thinks the Grim Reaper just go around killing people with scythes or whatever.
And telling jokes.
Yeah. So over the course of time, you realise that Doug probably is the Grim Reaper, probably, but he just really wants to be a stand-up comedian. He wants that release from his job, whatever that job is. He's a very stressed person, and he finds major release from that. So it's basically about the story of Tim's navigating. He's a young guy, and he just wants to get on in life, and he has to deal with this kind of guy who may not be the Grim Reaper. So it's kind of like a comedy drama. Well, it's a comedy drama thriller, really. Yeah.
what I thought was what hit me, because I watch a lot of reels, and stand up is kind of like the thing that fills my time and existence. But what I liked was when you said he's not the first one, but the current one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Which I thought
yeah.
was kind of funny.
Yeah. The position does get filled every few thousand years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's pretty good. But
it's not a job for life; it's a job for the afterlife.
yeah, well, not a job for life. Well, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I just come on. Sorry.
So basically, like I said, you're in the middle of like casting that now.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to start, shooting like as early as August, September. But why do you feel that you're gonna do this for a year? I think you said.
I find.
I mean, the other projects don't really run that long, do they?
Yeah, I mean.
They did.
I mean, the one we just finished, Dead War.
Well, that's 2 and 3 though. You did them back to back, didn't you?
Yeah, but Mr. Average is 2.5 hours long. it's like nearly 300 pages.
Wow, dude. He does a lot of writing. This Doug Byrne.
I need someone to stop me sometimes.
Yeah, but isn't it like the comedy though? Isn't it like you were just writing the sketches? that would be a bit longer, but easy to shoot.
Yeah, I did the original story 2012, and I was going to film it with a guy called Paul J. Dove.
I know Paul.
Yeah. Great musician.
Seems I know a lot of people.
Yeah, great magician,
Yes.
actor, does
He
a
was
lot,
in one
does
of
a
my
lot of stuff.
films, yes.
He's really good. I just made a film called The Temp, which was a comedy in 2011, and then so I thought the next one would be a comedy.
Doug, to be fair, 2011, when you say I just made a film, that was like over 10 years ago.
Oh no! I mean, at the time of writing the original, I did time. Yeah. Oh no, that's not. I mean, the Olympics.
That's why I said he has a long filmography.
Yeah, it was like mid '90s or something. Yeah. But yeah, so I wrote it, and then I thought I need a budget for this one, like a proper one, and my budget's normally at $3 or $4 grand or something like that. So I thought I would like to do it with some money. And then a couple of other projects turned up, and I must admit it kind of got shelved a bit. And then Paul's always bugged me, and then so and you know what, we're just going to do it this time. So to do it over a year gives us that luxury of. It won't take a year like every weekend or every week. It just, for example, Doug will probably be played by a brilliant actor called Carl Wharton, who is in. Is it, how do you pronounce it? Not Metropolis, Metropolis?
Metropolis.
No,
Megapopolis.
Sorry, yeah.
Megalopolis.
Peter's.
Whatever.
Yeah, Peter's amazing series. Anyway, Carl's in that. I think he's one of the stars. And
Metabolist.
Yes.
Peter Senseiya.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Carl's in
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Carl's in a lot of. He's in a lot of. He makes a good living as an actor.
Yeah.
But Carl's also very tricky to nail down. So I suspect that will be not. I don't mind waiting for him, but there'll be a lot of times where we won't be able to shoot because he's busy. Also, there'll be a lot of planning. A lot of locations required, so I suspect that's why we're giving ourselves a year to make it, simply because there'll be planning and there'll be also getting people in position. So
it's just that when you do that, it's like what happens when another idea hits you, because like you sound like you're a man that like not walks the stream of consciousness but swims in it, so like ideas seem to be like prevalent for you. And everything, so it's like it would seem like, oh man, I'm stuck on this idea, even though this one's coming to me, or I mean, how do you find that navigation?
I write a book. I wrote one a few years ago and released it about my time in Pakistan. And I've got another book on the go. So I find if I have a creative overload happening, then I've got several ideas for books that I want to write. So, because you kind of have to, you're quite right. Especially if you, although I'm more of a visual person, you could be out. Oh, I'll just start filming this now, or I'll just do that. You have to kind of edit yourself. You have to kind
Yeah.
of say, well, actually, no, we're working on this now.
Yeah.
And it gives me a bit of time to kind of promote or kind of market Dead War, which could give me, my energy could go towards over the next few months, even though we're releasing it, help market it, promote, get the word out a bit more. And like I say, planning takes up a bit of your time. So yeah, any creative challenge like that, or not do a few chapters of the book, or kind of write that really. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, book time is therapeutic time, I find, and everything. I only had like one more question, even though Phil gives me the finger. I know 5 of them. I know 5 of them. How do you find collaboration? Because I'm just curious.
If I know the person and I kind of get on with them, then it's absolutely fine, and I don't mind that at all. I've done that before in the past. However, I got dragged. No, not dragged. I am so sorry. I was asked to direct a cookery show. I was working on a feature film as location manager in Liverpool called Fated.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, it was Craig Charles and so many other people in it. It was a great one. And then I was asked to direct a cookery pilot show called The TV Chef, which stood for Transvestite Chef.
All right.
And it had
Shut up, Phil.
it had drag. It had.
Fascinating.
It was in a nightclub in Preston called Brown's, and it had like BDSM people. It had drag queen. It had so many kind of eclectic, brilliant people there. And
I didn't know we were going down this road.
and the guest stars were Julie Goodyear and Ken Morley, who were still quite famous from Coronation Street at that point.
All right.
And I was asked to direct it, and I went in a bit cold. And although it got done and I directed it and it was fine, it's like literally 15 cameras everywhere looking down, on this stage type thing going on. And it was like live. I had all these banks of screens I was looking at. I was going to camera 1, camera 2. It was that type of directing,
Yeah.
sorry. But I didn't like it because I kind of came in a bit cold and a bit last minute. So if I get in early-ish and I can get on with the people, then yeah.
But also, it sounds like you like your own projects because you have your own rhythm. And speed.
My mind's just squirrels stitched together, running on a wheel. Yeah.
A squirrel stitched together running in a wheel. Kind of like a hamster in a. I was going to say something, but I'm not. I was going to say a hamster in a panic. All right. Anyway, so how can we find you, Douglas?
Yeah. If you go onto YouTube, our YouTube is TV Plus Films, all together, not separately. So that's all one word. Our website
With the word plus.
Yeah, the word plus, yeah. So Tango Victor, the word plus, and the word films. Thank you, Chase. And then, again, that's the same on our website, which is tvplusfilms.com, yeah. Or you can apply for our latest film there and also watch some of quite a bit of our films there as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, basically local filmmaker, you film the world, but I guess you shoot wherever it is that you're going to film. It's always good, this type of show, for people to know, like, a little bit something about other people out there that might have the same interests and like wonder like how they're doing it and how they're getting on and stuff like that. Especially in this city, there's so many other like young filmmakers or older filmmakers, let's just say. You know what I mean? But thank you very much. Once again, you're a man of wealth and knowledge. Douglas, thank you for joining me here in the studio and everything. And I hope that people do give you a check out. His next film, Mr. Average, is being casted right now. So if I were you, I'd be like looking up on our website and everything. And not like he takes everybody though, do you, Doug?
If you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with you.
Shouldn't say that, Doug.
Although if I ghost you, that's another thing. But
whoa,
no.
You know what? I haven't heard from Doug in a while. After Doug actually asked me to do a voiceover for one of his films, I was going to say, yeah, Doug, where's my money? Now I'm kidding.
But Chase, I always revisit my films, so there's still a chance.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot what it was. I know I was. I think you wanted an American voice or something like that. Like something's going on. But hey, I'm always interested in small parts and everything. That's all cool. But Doug, thank you very much for joining me here in the studio. Thank you, Phil, man on the decks. I'm your host, Jason Salenci. You've been watching the Liverpool Community Podcast. Please like and subscribe. I usually don't say that, but for some reason, I'm saying it now. And everything. And for now, we out of here. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Chase.